But here's another guy like to get up in the middle of the night.
I'm a night person. I'm not the morning person.
Well, but if you're a night person till 2, if you're a night person till 2, if you play that game, then you may really like because they say what he's saying on currency or the DAX. Is the DAX have a gap just like we do, and if the gap's down, we freaking go down like a rock. So good news for me is I do a lot of sleep trades, I call them, and I get high of the night, and I make a decision at midnight to go short or long. I don't do it all the time, short or long, and then I'm gonna take a few points. But when I get a 7-point gap, when I'm going to bed, I got to take the gap. I mean, I figure it's got to go down 2 somewhere in there, and that's $1,000.
Yeah. The gap is only when the trade opens in the morning, right?
Technically, yeah, but it's still always there. Technically, it's when the market opens at 9:30.
Right.
Yeah, but it's always there. So as soon as the market closes, the minute it closes, there's a gap.
Oh, there's a gap. Oh, okay.
The minute it closes, there's a gap.
What do you look at to find out what the price is? What the gap is?
You look at the futures.
See, closing price. That's the gap.
The gap will be, now we don't know that because it could adjust. We got to be careful with that.
That's true.
It might adjust to 77 or something because it we'll see. I mean, but let's say that it is. You'll see some sort of adjustment. I don't know why it happens.
It's a 3-day week.
Yeah, so I don't know. Still maybe an adjustment.
So you're looking at the E-mini futures immediately after the close.
That's the day. That's the number. Technically, I'm not on a 3-day weekend. There's usually some kind of a
chart for anything, like an SPY or something. There's a gap.
You use you use what you see, yeah, /ES, and when you go to your side, you'll see when you're trading futures, it'll show you red or green. You'll see it.
What's really interesting, since I've been doing this gap trade with him, I think the gap may take 4 days, but almost 99% of the time it eventually fills.
Yeah, we missed one the other day that it didn't fill. It missed it by a quarter point, so it's still open. But it came all the way back
to within a
quarter point filling. But technically, the 54 gap is still open. So, the odds are somewhere in time it's going to fill, right? So 1054.
Now, when you say that, okay, the gap, so it goes down, gaps, there's no buying and selling. Now, when you say when it fills, you mean it goes back to where it started? Or
yeah, the gap the Friday was 67 and a quarter. You see that number on the far right? It's over that, isn't it?
This is 1068 right here.
It was 76 and a quarter. I apologize. 76 and a quarter. All the way up there. See on the far right?
Okay.
So it was 76 and a quarter was the gap.
Where's
that was the close of Thursday.
That was the close of Thursday. 76.25. Oh. And you can see it was nowhere near that. So the gap was still open. So when you were trading,
if you were to put a line at 76.25, which I do on all my charts.
76.
See, he knows that 76.25 is the gap. And until that gap fills, you always have that issue with a gap in your face.
Right. Because
it's like a magnet. It pulls stuff to it.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
Gap is the difference between at what time they close and what time they open. That's your gap.
Exactly right.
The next day.
Where are you finding that on this chart?
Well, you won't find it on the chart.
I'm feeling the gap. That means the Thursday.
I guess, the definition of gap, I'm thinking, I own a stock, and I paid $70 for it, and then the next day it opens, and it's
the reason there's a gap in your stock is because it closes at 4 and opens at 9. And
you call the gap too. That's a gap.
Right. But the reason you
yours is a stock gap. Go ahead, you explain it.
Yeah, at the close. That's the concept.
Okay.
You got it. It's the difference.
Exactly right.
What happens? What you see.
You're bummed. I wouldn't be bummed. I mean, it's a gap. I traded.
This is the explanation, okay? There's the reason for the explanation is at close you see 4 o'clock, right? That's the price at 4 o'clock. Let's say it's 76.25. At 9:30, it's moved to 68. Let's say that's in the regular market. In the S&P, it goes on from 4:30 on. So all this trading is taking place between 4 o'clock and 9:30, where you see the gap. Whereas we, day traders, are looking at trading between that time that you see that you can't trade.
Right. That's why you can't get out of an option. This market doesn't open till 9:30. No matter where I am, 9:30 Eastern time is when I can trade an option. Yes. But I can trade a future.
But that's why you see that gap in the morning. Okay.
Right.
Because the world is trading around you, and you can't trade it between 4:30 and 9:30 in the morning. Right. In fact, if you were to look at at profit charts, and over on the left-hand side, after market trading is taking place while and you can see them doing it.
Yeah.
And there's and if you look before 9:30, there's market trading taking place that you can't participate in.
You'll see the price moving.
Yeah, you'll see that the price moving in this little left-hand.
So the rest
Can you
of
put
the
a
world
profit
has
chart?
influenced the SPY, is what
Yeah.
has happened. And then when the markets open back up in the United States, then you are playing this gap.
Well, the volume is going to pick up. I'm playing the gap. The legal gap starts at 9:30 the next day. You're absolutely right. But the gap itself is going on all night long.
Oh, whatever, because there's all these
Right.
million people in the world.
And I can make my money and get out during the day, during the night. I can play that anytime I want to. I can pick a number up and down. We have people that have all kinds of strategies that use different things that they trade after hours only. And you know, you pick that. I love trading after hours, but not everybody wants to do it. You know, I mean.
Yeah, so you're not a good sleeper.
No, I sleep great.
I quit at 4.
Even
You
4
can
a.m.?
see,
No, 4 o'clock p.m.
If you go to single swing product and put the extended hour, they will show you what happened. People who trade stock after hours. So the other day you can see already it's down.
There's virtually no
See
volume.
in the little box on the
Not a
left-hand
mystery.
corner
You
there?
already know that it's down.
If you look at that on certain stocks,
Yeah.
you'll see that moving after 4 o'clock and before 9:30
Right.
every day.
So every stock could have a gap going. Well, you see it when you go in. You see where it closed, and you see where the bid and ask are. Right? That's a gap. That for you is a gap too. So we don't trade any differently. It's until we get equalized to that gap that there is no gap.
So your gap is at the 15-minute break between.
Mine is after the 15 minutes. Like right now, the SPY closed at 10:75, didn't it? Yes,
I don't remember.
I think so. Let me
Is it
use
right
that.
there? Yeah, it's up there at the. Oh.
What did it do? You had the SPY up?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you had it.
Oh, yes,
I think
why?
it's
No, that's that. Yeah, right. SPY's different.
SPX.
And we closed at 79, and I'm 78 short, so I'm already behind. Where are we?
What the
I shorted. Now the SPY's at 1075.51. See on the far right? It closed at 75.51. So see the difference? By the way, just so you know that, that's called the cash gap. You ever see when they say fair value is? That's because the futures are now higher than where cash is.
Right.
If it was lower, you'd have a negative cash gap. By the way, there are people that trade that. It's another trade. Someone else does. I don't do it. But other people trade that gap.
So you remember it's 75.51 here, and the futures are at what,
79.
79.
So the odds
4
are that
points, yeah.
somewhere in that 4 points where that it's going to come back to the same price the SPY is at. They'll meet a
It's
point.
kind of like a goal in life, I guess. They have to. It's like equilibrium or something.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool when you watch it. Some days you go, well, how come
The
the
reason is that from
futures are so
9:30